Welcome back, everyone. 欢迎大家回来。今天是第177天。It is day 177. Business as usual. Oh, actually, yesterday, two things. Was it two things? I think it was like three things. But something I want to remind myself would be things with who, right? Again, rear its head. Right? 似乎. Oops. 似乎, which is seems, and this is attached to choke word. Right. 在乎, which is care, to care. There's one other. I don't quite remember it. A little bit lesser on the side. We'll see if it comes up. Those two. Oh, I do also remember 公斤 for kilograms. All right, let's hop in. 答案 answer. Oh, speaking of answer, what was this? Toll. 答案 answer case. An answer, yeah. To find the answer to a case is something that can answer the question or problem posed by a given case. Yeah, solution. 这是正确的答案。
这是正确的答案。
正确的答案。
答案器官
器官器官 so bureaucrat plus 器 utensil. Oh no, utensil is pretty weak. T for utensil. Okay, so utensil bureaucrat gives organ. Oh boy, let me see how you explain it. An organ is a fleshly utensil within you that has a little bureaucrat on top that directs all operation. Oh boy, this one's tough. 器官. I think bureaucrat needs another pivot. Bureaucrat can be viewed as an organizer or an organ, something that is organizing. So a utensil that is organizing in your body is an organ. An organ, I mean, it's inorganized. No, just kidding. There's no organ is probably from like organic or something. But yeah, it's like a profession, right? Like a utensil is something that is necessary oftentimes, or like really important. Like an eating utensil is somewhat necessary, right? It's a utensil used for eating. So a utensil but how would you know it deals with the organ? I don't know. Apparatus is definitely closer to this than that. So this can be tough. Yeah, so they're talking about an organ here, the heart. What is that? 性脏是人体 人体重要的器官机 So the heart is the person's body is one of the person's body's most important organ. The heart is one of the most important. Okay, yeah, that's the same thing.
心脏是人体重要的器官之一。
心 whoops, I said the wrong tone. I said 4. 心 1. 心脏心脏是人体重要的器官之一。
器官政府
That was a long time coming. 政府 yeah, 政府他在政府中工作 yeah, in the government.
政府包裹
package plus 果 wrap, a packaged wrap, okay, refers to a package that's wrapped up in a box, yeah. 包裹 I'm kind of curious if this also no, maybe this doesn't also refer to as like the package wrapping 包裹 when I hear 包裹 I also think of package wrapping. Like I wonder what the wrapping is called then. Let's see. What do we have? What is that? Something 包裹到中国要多少钱 So that's probably how, yeah. How much okay, so how much money is the package to China is going to take? Maybe send. Oh, that's probably send. Send package to China. Send package to China requires how much money? Is how I would read that.
寄包裹到中国要多少钱？
just 寄包裹 Oh, that might be a counter actually. 寄包裹 That's yeah, no, that, or it might be 寄 and 到 where send what? You put the item in the middle between send and what. It's actually kind of, I'm not entirely sure 寄 is functioning as a counter of this, or is 寄到, which is to send out or send to. So you're sending package to 中国, China requires how much money, right? Or how much does it cost to send a package to China? Yeah, that's fine. Oops. Wait.
包裹
How does bao work? Why is it on the outside? What does it have to do with Bart Simpson and the barn outside with that? I actually don't remember the mnemonic for this anymore. Bart is in front of the barn preparing a special package. He gets a bunch of manure and stuffs it all inside the package, then throws it through a window. Yikes. Oh, it's because the package is a package. Yeah, Bart Simpson do be doing Bart Simpson things. Okay.
排列
Special delivery. Sorry, I'm thinking of a movie reference. Special delivery. 排列 排列 line up, row. So row and line up. Okay. To arrange, that's fine. The arrange item is to make the lineup into rows so they all neat and arranged. Yeah. 排列。按按哦，wait，按年代，按年代，西西 what？西 shaken ceremony. How does the shaken ceremony thing? Wait. 巡 is that no she no wait she I don't know. That looks like that's probably 巡西 xin. Oh no 信息排列. Oh no 顺 oh yeah 顺. So I'm getting mixed up. Oh, I know what I'm mixing up. I'm mixing up Xing with Xun Xi so order, chronological order. Okay, that kind of makes sense. And An was An 年代 An 年代 really. So there's a range. So An 年代 is chronological. But An is a case. And 年代 substitute. Or order. Ooh. Maybe that's like ordinal number? I don't really know how 年代 works. That has year and substitute in it. And then it looks like alphabetical order is an and then the stuff. So 年代 might be like number, right? Just chronological, yeah. So like ordinal stuff. And then 字母 is alphabetical order. No, no, this is order. This is the phrase for like serialized or order. That's interesting. Huh. That's structure.
排列，
排列. Okay.
答案，
答案
政府，
政府. How does 政 work? Right.
排列，
排列.
器官，
器官. Okay. Oops.
包裹，
包裹. Next one, efficiency. 效率. 率 is rate. 效 effective rate. Oh, okay. Efficiency, that makes sense. Effect rate is a measure of rate that a desired effect is produced. 提高效率 raise efficiency. Yeah, 提高
效率，首府，
首府. 首府 head government capital. Head government office, yes. A capital. Or state. It's fair. I wonder what 首府 I wonder what the federal government is. If that exists. This word usually refers to capitals at levels of government below the national level. Yeah. So I wonder what the national level is. It's probably just national plus, like, or domestic or national plus government. Or like head, some form of a head at that, a higher head of branch. Like maybe national domestic. Is where you, such as state capitals or capitals of autonomous regions, but below the national level. Like 国内, domestic. 首府加压 what the 加压 California, is that ya? That's probably ya, right? No, 加油 加州 maybe. I don't remember what this is. It's slightly different too. There's no radical on the left. So it's 加 something the 首府是什么？加州 oh it is 州 okay. 加州的首府是什么？加州 for California?
加州的首府是什么？
Interesting. I wonder how they got 加州 for California. Oh, what's Texas and Austin? 敖启英 maybe 敖启厅 oh that's oh yeah the right yeah 敖斯汀 and 德州德州 or Texas 德州的 oh interesting 德州 I don't know enough about these characters to know. Interesting. 德州 for Texas. 德州的首府是奥斯汀奥斯汀奥斯汀 for Austin. That's funny. I think it's definitely worth looking through a glossary, like a list of loan words in Chinese. It's fun seeing what they are. It's kind of, it might overstay its welcome, obviously, because like it's kind of like katakana in Japanese when you start thinking like, what is that? Ba, like you just start saying like it sounds like something. I think I know what this is, but it sounds like so many other things. Like when you think like cocoa, it's like what the heck is cocoa? Oh wow, like cocoa, it sounds like cocoa, right? But you start wondering, but it's not quite right. So is it cocoa? It's technically not cocoa, but it is cocoa. Just fun stuff. Cocoa, cocoa with an A. Let's see. But they are referring to like that type of cocoa. Sometimes you get like banana. Let's see. Capital.
破案
break the case to solve the case. Yeah. When you solve the case, you break the case open. You break the case open figuratively. Yeah, crack the case. 进 警方 for police. Interesting. 警方破案了。警方破案了。
警方破案了。
破案。
破案。
法官。
法官。Ooh. Method plus bureaucrat. A judge. A judge is a bureaucrat that makes sure that a trial is carried out according to the method of the law. A court judge. Justice. 法官. I'm more used to this being 法官, justice, but judge. It kind of makes sense. Okay. 法官. 法官在法庭上工作 works in the courtroom. 法庭 interesting 法庭 we're getting all the government words.
法官
oh wait kidding
失业率
lose 失业 unemployment 率 rate unemployment rate 失业率站在上升 Oh, I kind of forgot the G. 上升 rise rising up or rising. Yes. Okay.
失业率
Okay. Upsy daisy.
效率失业率呢 Okay. I've got the rate. 法官破案
I think I found a game that I'm gonna play for this month. I don't know how long it's gonna take though. I think I've almost decided.
首府
Okay.
列车
line up cars, yeah, train. I like this one. I think this one's cute. Consists of a bunch of train cars lined up onto a track. Lined up cars. 列车 instead of a 火车. 火车 is pretty cute too. Fire car for train. But 列车, is there a special note in 列车 the use between 列车 and 火车? No. 这列车及时no 准时到达 yeah 到达了 arrived and then on time 及时 I mean 准时 prepare time on time 准时 interesting
列车案件
yeah case it's a piece of case so 件 is a placeholder it's an object placeholder So it just takes on whatever is next to it. A refers to one particular piece of all the cases out there. Yeah, case. 这是一个重要的什么法律法律案件 make sense
这是一个重要的法律案件。
法律
案件外交官
外交官外交 is diplomacy, right? So yeah, 官 to it, which is a bureaucrat or a person or something that operates, and it's a person who operates with diplomacy, a diplomat, which also works with Guy Cole Khan, right? Guy Cole Khan. 外交官 it's a bureaucrat whose duty is to mingle with the outside world. Yeah, mingle with the outside world, diplomacy. 他父亲是一名外交官 Interesting. I'm still looking forward to that new season of Diplomat.
外交官
外交官
货
货 looks familiar. Commodities. Oh yeah, it's like assets. I link it with assets. But goods commodities are not necessarily the same as assets, but I'm just gonna put assets anyways. It kind of helps me get the idea. The Hulk is in the bathroom. Oh, it's my fourth hole. Wow, I got back-to-back holes. The last batch was another hole, and I don't remember what it is. And it's lined up on top of hole, the trouble one, which is or. The Hulk is in the bathroom of the office building wearing a collared shirt and tie. I mean, he's walking in an office building. While washing his hands, he is discussing commodities with Slender Man. Fair enough. It's either Bigfoot, Shrek, or the Hulk. His co-worker. They believe the business can make quite a bit of money if they trade their... What is this? What is that supposed to be? A spoon, that's right. Spoon commodities for shellfish. Oh no, shellfish. Before the end of the quarter. But how does this have anything to do with Hulk? I guess Hulk is kind of a smarty. Technically, it's Bruce Banner. That is a smarty. The Hulk is not the smarty. But you know, when they coalesce into Bruce Hulk, Banner Hulk, then you have that. I can kind of see it. We'll stick with this. We'll see. It's like 货资 or something. Is there 货资? No, there's no 货资. 货物 there is though. That's pretty okay. 存货 inventory. Exist commodities. Okay, sure. Inflation. 通 Wait. Tong. Oh no, that could be tong. No, that's tong. Tong huo pang jian. Tong yo pang jian. Oh, I don't have what pang jian is. Pan jian. Pan jian. Jian. Pan jian. Yeah, jian tai. Jian. Doesn't even have enough room to display all those words.
货
货. Okay, 货. Okay.
梦
I just had to picture a Banner Hawk, you know, Bruce Banner Hawk. Meng. Oh, we finally got Meng. Oh, you look very different. or dream. I could have sworn there were trees on top. Like it looked something like... And maybe there might have been a crown? I don't think so. I thought it looked something like this. Because I had a mnemonic. Like 做梦. 做梦 in to daydream, right? Or to dream. Where like it's a guy resting under trees. You're daydreaming while resting under trees. Because it looks like a guy sleeping on a hammock or something, or reclining. And this is not what I expected. Because this thing still exists. Double trees. Huh. It might be a different thing though. Might be an entirely different thing. Coincidentally, also have Meng as the read. Mario is in the bathroom of the English Manor. Go on. Working his dream plumbing job. Okay, plumbing job, Mario. Okay, dream plumbing job. The bathroom is decorated with flowers everywhere. And even more flowers are suspended in the net, right? Hanging from the ceiling. In the middle of the luxurious bathroom, which is the English Manor, luxurious bathroom, it's a floating crown that lights up every skeleton. Oh, evening. Sticky skeleton. Evening. Up every evening, lighting the bathroom with a beautiful golden light. Mario feels like he's in a plumbing dream. Oh, that's kind of cool. I could kind of draw it too. Oh, that sounds very dreamy. I could kind of see what I would draw for this, and it would make for a great lighting thing, lighting scene. Especially when you put it in a dim room with a lot of reflections. Meng Jing. Dream barrier. Boundary. I guess dream world makes sense because it's the boundary between dream and reality. 梦想 dream, think, contemplate, dream, think. Pokemon. Wait, Pokemon? Pokemon ne? Bao. Wait, Bao. 宝可梦 oh. 宝可梦 oh, that's kind of cute. 宝可梦 why not 破可梦 yeah, why not 破可梦 as opposed to 宝可梦 interesting. Or even Po, really? Oh, no, there's Po. So you either choose between Bao, Pao, or Bo and Po. I feel like Pokemon, Pokemon, Pokemon sounds a little bit better. It's gonna be really hard to remember Pokemon, but that's fine. That's funny. We're gonna get it eventually.
梦
Okay. Just think. Bruce Banner. Uh-huh. Yes. Mm-hmm.
或
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
按键
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
梦
Mm-hmm.
外交官
Mm-hmm.
列车
Okay. Set up. Interesting. We do have a set. What was it? Ding. James Bond. James Bond is in the bathroom of the house. Go on. Setting up a trap. Okay, in the bathroom in the house, setting up a trap. Sure. Above the door is a mechanism that will activate when the door is open, dropping straight down a huge net that will fall on anyone foolish enough to enter. Oh yeah, that's great. That's great. That's pretty good. I like it. Wei zhi position. Interesting. I would have thought maybe like reserve something. Like reserve a spot or something. Oh no, wait, it's position. Wait, what am I thinking of? Oh, the other way. So to set up position. Okay. The setup. 设置. Oh, okay. Create setup. The setup. Oh, that's kind of interesting. It's probably to create and to set up. Either or, because they complement each other. These are complementary characters. I'm starting to get the feel for complementary characters. Like Boo for Japanese, they're complementary characters. Or maybe not complementary, supplementary characters. They like boost together. And it happens less in Japanese. 歌字. I have no idea what 歌 kind of looks like. It could be 歌字. But probably to put on a shelf. And you just set up the stuff, right? Okay. Matt. Okay.
智
Yep.
直
Oh, we got plant. We finally got plant. Does that look exactly like? Yes, it does. Actually, I have no idea what plant is anymore. We'll come to it. We'll cross the path when we cross the path. True. James Bond is inside the living room of the house, trying to find a way to escape before the bad guys come in through the front door. That sounds about right. He takes out a small tree and plants it in the carpet. Okay. Next, he waters it with a special liquid he had in his coat pocket. The tree suddenly grows straight up at high speed. Alright, that's kind of alright, sure. Grows straight up at high speed, many meters a second, bursting through the ceiling and the roof. James Bond begins climbing the tree to escape. Well, that's an elaborate way. I mean, an alternative way is he is trying to find a way to escape before the bad guys come in. So he takes out a small tree, right? And, you know, plants it near the front door. The tree is stacked straight against the door in order to keep the door shut, while he makes an escape through the window, or makes an escape through the window by climbing down the tree in the back. That's very reasonable too. Instead of doing something elaborate like a special liquid. But true, the special liquid could make it more spy techie, but then it could end up being Jimmy Neutron. Okay. Spies are crafty, but they're also very pragmatic. Jimmy Neutron, on the other hand, not pragmatic. He's just a silly goober with a big brain. 植物 makes sense. Oh, 生物 no. Yes. No. Why do I keep going to hakubutsu? No. Soubutsu? No. What is it? Alright, I gotta know. I'm drawing a blank. Oh yeah, shokubutsu. Yeah, shokubutsu. Shokubutsu. 移植 to transplant. Shift plant. Transplant. Oh, that's cute. To cultivate. Pager. Ooh, pager looks familiar for cultivate. Like Japanese familiar. Zaizhi. Oh, Zaizhi looks familiar too. Huh.
直摇
Y'all, oh boy, to shake. This one's a new one. So Yoshi is inside the barn where he finds a shaking clay pot. Go on. Next to one, he found a shaking clay pot next to one of the cows. Barn. He throws an egg to break it open, the clay pot. Inside is a moon and a finger, each shaking uncontrollably. They shake so intensely that even the barn starts to shake a bit. Ew. That's not gonna work. That is very, very bad. I could line this up with Yen, where Yoshi is inside the barn where he finds a clay pot right next to the cows. He thought it would be fun to throw eggs at the moon-shaped clay pots. He thought it would be fun to balance clay pots on his eggs, on his fingertips. Let's just say on his finger, and see like do a fun act of balancing his eggs and clay pots on his fingertips. Unfortunately, he started shaking uncontrollably and the pot fell down and broke. Right. Something like that. I don't think that this one is too wild. It's too far out. Cradle. Yao lan. A shake basket. Nice. A cradle. To waver. Dong yao. Ooh. Move shake to waver. Rock music. Yao gun ye. Shake something music. Interesting. Oh, the act of like rocking around. I see. Yao Han. Got nothing there. Sway. Yao Huan. Alright.
摇
Let's picture it. Okay. I got it.
侧
Ugh. To measure. Oh, hey. What was Japanese's thing? Oh, wait. There was no spray in it. Was there spray? No. Yes. No. Right, it's just the knife to the side. Oh, no, wait. There might have been. I'm thinking of what? Soba? Am I thinking of soba? it's leader. It's leader, so no. This part is different, yeah. I couldn't think of what was to the left. So, oh, here comes the shellfish. Alright. Casper is in the bathroom of the electricity plant. Okay, where there's a huge sinkhole in the middle. Full of electrically charged water spraying around. Casper gets a bunch of sabers and ties them together and drops them into the hole, trying to measure how deep the hole is so he can get an estimate of how many shellfish you'll need to plug it and stop the dangerous electric spraying. He measures it as being very deep indeed. At least 100,000 shellfish will be needed for good measure. A fathom. I got nothing. I can't reword it, like it. Okay, we'll just embrace the absurdity. Predict. Let's see. So. Yi ce. Beforehand measure. Mixed prediction. Fair enough. To test. 测试. To measure and test. To conjecture. Yeah. Oh, I'm not familiar with the left one though. 猜测. 检测. To monitor. To measure. What is 检测? To speculate. Okay. Don't have points around. 测. Okay.
Go.
To purchase. Instead of to buy. Okay. 买. So go. Interesting. To purchase. Oh man, shellfish again. Oh no. Now it's shellfish with the mesh and rack. The wire mesh and rack. What was go? Oh, there's also go in terms of tree, right? Pretty sure this is go as well, or structure, or maybe not. Yes, no, construct, or construct. So, alright, with the shellfish now. Gandalf is in the bathroom of the bakery, where he wants to purchase some baking goods. You inspire me a bit to use the book of common kanji that you have been sitting on the shelf. Oh, I didn't realize you... Did we already talk about your interest in language? Did we already talk about that? Were you interested in Japanese? I forgotten. Book of Common Kanji. That's a great place. A great place to tickle the neurons. Get you hooked. Next to the toilet is a shellfish. Alright, sure. With a rack of goods. Wait, the shellfish has a rack of goods for purchase? Oh, come on. Gandalf purchases some wire mesh that was for sale from the shellfish. It cost 4 croissants. You're just learning Japanese as a hobby, not seriously. Croissants. Croissants. Okay. Okay, croissants is fine, but he's already purchasing some baked goods. But a shellfish? Wired mesh. Maybe we'll throw this a different way. So Gandalf is in the bathroom of the bakery, where he wants to fetch some special baked goods, right? Some special ingredients for baked goods. Next to the toilet, he has an aquarium or like something like waterlogged, right? He has some magical shellfish, and the a magical rack of goods made from shellfish, right? Oh no, but the wire mesh is lost. You sure it doesn't hurt to learn a few? Currently, you looked away as soon as I see kanji in a sentence. Currently, you look away as so. Oh, I see. Fair enough. Oh man, this is tough. Wired rack. Maybe Gandalf is in the bathroom of the bakery where he is fetching some special ingredients from a rack in the bathroom. This rack is made of a wired construction, a wired rack containing shellfish. Ingredients is from shellfish, in order to make some baked goods for purchase. Oh man. As purchasing from a shellfish is weird. I feel like I would line that up for more with like Yoshi and Zelda and Link, not Gandalf. So we're just gonna go with that. He's fetching the shellfish, the magical shellfish ingredient from a wired rack in the bathroom. How did you gain the motivation to learn complex characters or letters? I didn't really gain the motivation. I just think it's interesting. Things that are complicated and whatnot tend to speak for itself. I think that's my like basic line of things. The inherent nature of things being complicated is what motivates me, as opposed to the opposite. It doesn't take two. I think what takes most of my motivation is the things that people find actually it's one and the same. How do I gain motivation? Learn complex things. Like for example, I think we need a little bit of clarity. I think you're also referring to a part of it. So I think the aspect that you might be asking, perhaps this might be more on point. Oftentimes when someone talks about gain motivation, it's more the motivation that deals with consistency and stamina, right? Stamina, or you could also say like effort, right? Effort. And oftentimes that deals with motivation that consumes things, and usually all these three things that consume stamina, effort, and consistency deals with learning something, and learning something tends to be associated with something that's unknown, right? Something that when it's unknown so much that it can be discomforting or avoidant, right? Which is what you mentioned earlier about looking away when you see kanji in a sentence. And this is I would say, where do I gain this motivation? And I have one step before. When something is discomforting and unknown, it generates motivation for me to do these things. So I start here is where the source is, but it's one and the same. It's part of the process. So the thing that you say that you're trying to gain, that's creating that avoidant behavior. So the avoidant behavior is what makes it seem like you need to gain the motivation. I start here is what happens. This is my source of motivation, the very thing that makes you want to look away, if that helps. So yeah, in a way it feeds on itself. However, many people would find this discomforting. So they need a different source coming in, right? So oftentimes you find your motivation somewhere else. And one other sources of motivation, right? Other sources of motivation could be something like you want to visit Japan, right? Visit Japan. And then that creates a source of motivation, which hopefully allows you to do this, which then attacks discomfort, right? It removes discomfort unknown, and therefore it doesn't depreciate motivation. But for me, it's a gain in motivation. It promotes motivation as opposed to inhibit motivation. Do you actively look for unknown things to start things off? No. I look for things I can comprehend, things that comprehensible input, the theory of comprehensible input. I look for things I can potentially understand. If I were to choose it myself, if you're asking me personally, what would I do? I would look at something I can potentially understand. However, that's not why I'm here. What is another way to look at unknown things? Other people. So while I'm engaging in things that I can potentially understand, most of the time when I'm engaging in those things, they are things that other people present, and those are the unknowns that I pursue. So if you come across something unknown, you go and get to know it. Yes, because I would likely know it enough, right? If I pursue it. If I pursue it, I would know it enough. But the whole point of knowing it enough is I would then find out what other people know. And then the rest is history. So that's how I get started. I play a Japanese video game, right? And then the Japanese video game is made by maybe Japanese people. And those people decided to represent, I don't know, Japanese culture to a Western audience like myself. I'm a Westerner. Western audience a certain way. And because there are unknowns of understanding what this means, I learned Japanese. So, and then when I'm learning Japanese, it's not because I want to become fluent in Japanese. That's not the main motivation. The main motivation is to understand Japanese video games. It's where it all starts. Understanding Japanese video games helped me somewhat understand Japanese people who make video games, who also understand Japanese culture and why they represent their Japanese culture to a Western audience this way. And studying this can lead to this, and this. So it feeds on itself. So my motivations typically come from the unknown most of the time. But this would be a more pragmatic way of looking at it. Because I think it's not very informative if I just say, oh, it's just things I don't know. That's everything. There's so many things I don't know. So why Japanese? Other people are the source of the unknown. So why am I interested in saying this to you? Like, why am I practicing explaining my logic to your question? Because I'm interested in what your thoughts are, and then why you're asking me those questions, right? May I ask? Now, this is where I would ask you, what motivates you to pick up Japanese as a hobby? And what was like some of the sources of motivation that you have? Many of the sources of motivation over my life are because of other people. So even learning how to gain motivation was off other people. Sometimes I enter a form of self-discovery, but rarely is things like the human condition, like things when you're talking about the human condition, someone radically re-identifies. Where humans, we've evolved for many millions of years, right? Well, not that long, but not many millions of years, but hundreds thousands of years, like maybe hundreds thousand. I don't actually know the precise number anymore, like what the thing is, but you take the lessons from others, right? That's where you develop them, and it's a great starting point. And occasionally there's self-discovery in isolation, but I'm a person who looks at the world around me as opposed to look inside most of the time. You can still do self-discovery, like you can discover this yourself and coincidentally will end up triggering human condition, or you can understand the human conditions and then use others who lived before you, and others around you that can promote enrichment for these things. It was simple. You only wanted to be able to read Japanese characters, so you learned the letters. What motivated you? You guess you just wanted to connect what's spoken to what's written. Ah, I see, I see. Fair enough, fair enough. And if I may be so bold, when it comes to motivation, the more you can say about your motivations, the less simple your reasoning for doing something, the more likely your motivation is very, very high. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean you can't succeed in without a lot of motivation. It's sufficient motivation, right? So if your motivation becomes less sufficient, oftentimes being able to say more things motivate you and say more about the things that makes you want to do things is probably a great like self-check on whether you are motivated enough, right? It's not about a competition about getting the most motivation. There's a diminished return when you have too much motivation. Like what I mean by that is you only need enough motivation to get the task done. That's for sufficiency. But I would say my motivations are way overfilling. And it's overfilling to the point that anything can distract me quite a lot. Like a lot of things can distract me from getting the task done. So that is where I spend most of my time improving. Improving the thing that you could kind of see it as a consequence of the internet culture for most people. The part that people think about gaining motivation to do. Discipline, consistency, regularity, constant improvements, foundational work while focusing on self-evaluation. These things are where I spend most of my motivation. Like the motivation that I have are all spent to be regular. It's something that is not necessarily the natural thing for humans to do. Doing something on a regular basis consistently runs into the classical human condition, which is things get boring. Like it gets boring, right? You want to stop making things get boring. If the moment things start getting boring, your motivation you start spending your motivation. If you keep things exciting and dynamic enough, you can go get more mileage out of your motivation. You think you can let this seep into things beyond language? Yeah, I hope so. Like that's kind of what I hope learning things is. When you tackle things like this and it's kind of like hard, or maybe like you feel like it's daunting and you just do it, other things might start to look not so hard and kind of routine. Like some people will say like, oh, you're never gonna finish this. And I'm like, I mean, I finished a 7-year troubling PhD. I think this is okay. So in the future, you can also apply that logic beyond that, and being active in tackling things out of hobby. I actually encourage this a lot of times. If you have time, like you're just sitting around, right? You're living life. Life is pretty good right now. It's stable. If you pick up a hobby, one way to practice working and adapting to difficult things, or like how to circumvent and provide motivation and tackle daunting things, is when you're not at risk. You don't need to be successful, right? Those are the times when you can fail, you can make mistakes, and it'll be all right. I think if you are living in a part of your life, a part of your lifetime where all the things that you need and have to do are met, it's a wonderful time to test out a hobby in which challenges you, and you can make mistakes and do all those things, and you can practice those, because then when life throws something at you that you must fix, you must know how to solve, you have a lot of experience already. It's not going to guarantee that you can fix those mistakes, but it will make them less approachable. So sorry, not less approachable. It will make them more approachable. So when someone is struggling with depression, right? For example, if someone is struggling with habit formation, they're struggling with communication, social anxiety, public speaking, I'm spending a lot of my hobby time, my free time, practicing all of these skills. And the reason why I believe practicing these skills are wonderful is because they can be useful skills that I can help other people do when they have to do it in the future. There's no maybe they'll do it. They have to eventually do it at some time. In fact, there's a deep cut here. I've already shared my desire to be a father. Like, I really do want to be a father. Despite not having a partner, I would most likely solo game this. So all of these things, one of the underlying bases is I want to learn everything that's facing younger people, like growing up and into older adults, because I want to have those skills in order to be ready to solve problems, not to be ready to guarantee a protective lifestyle for someone that I want to mentor or a child that I want to raise, but be ready to at least know where to start, look for, and not be scared. And that's kind of one of the things I'm not sure if other people do differently, but when parents, when they are thinking about having children, they spend like years, building themselves up, being ready, and at some point that scare factor goes away because of experience. Like, get a dog, right? I understand that it's a much more bigger leap, but if you don't want to get a pet, then scale back. Try to take care of a plant and then scale back some more. It's what happens is, if you're taking the risk factor out of it and you're still trying really, really hard, right? If you're still really motivated, super disciplined, and loving it and working super hard on something that is not even needed, like even obligated to do so, when the time comes that you have to do something, you'll double down. Because in my opinion, when you have to do something, that's even more fuel than you have already practiced. So oftentimes when someone says, so what happens if you have to speak Japanese? I'll make it work. I'll make it work. Well, what happens if you go to Japan and you have to speak Japanese? I'll make it work. It will be fine. Like, daijoubu desu. Like, we're fine. The hardest part is getting yourself to be rigorously effortful, doing something that is entirely optional, in my opinion. Because you can quit. You can avoid it. You can pretend like you can convince yourself you're learning something even without obligation. And that's kind of one of those like tricks in the books, right? How do you learn Japanese and Chinese really fast? You move to the country and force yourself because you have no other way. There's no possible way you can say, "Oh, I'll just stay at home and not study and stuff." So that's definitely kind of a way to do it. I think it's a wonderful superpower for adults, that kids that think that way or adults that think that way don't have, which is the ability to problem solve, tackle hard problems, despite it being trivial at the time. And that's kind of what motivates me. I like collecting skills, as much holistic skills as possible, so I can have something to talk about for everyone. And underlying building all these skills, the thing that I'm saying here is transferable between all the skills. You're finding your source of motivation, how to equip yourself with due diligence, keeping yourself consistent, what happens when you fall off, or over exceeding your expectations, how to normalize and self-evaluate. They underline all the skills, and even skills that you will have to build in case it's a problem that you didn't foresee or a problem that suddenly comes up. Grief would be one of them. Cyberbully would be one of them, right? Making a human error in speech in a public setting would be one of them. That's kind of, yes, when you were learning German, there was risk factor present. But for Japanese, it's less pressure. And now you get to choose how you pressure yourself, which is very fun exercise. I think that's most intriguing to me. I share language learning here. Publicly, I want to develop skills publicly. I develop skills in the background too. Like there's plenty of skills that I can't capture. Like my running, I don't have like a crew or indoor track or something with cameras. I can't show you how I approach running, but I have like 6 or 7 skills I'm working on off stream. But for language learning, I can show that. It's very convenient. And one of the reasons why I want to show these is because I want to ask other people. One of these things is I want to ask people how they go about learning things, because when they tackle things, I need to collect what it's like, because I don't know what it's like for other people. I don't know what it's like to grow up in the 20s with the internet at your disposal. Like I didn't grow up understanding that I don't have to figure out things, right? That changes the way people behave. And how do you leverage that? Like, how do you get someone who thinks that the internet has all the answers at your fingertips to want to solve a problem if maybe the solution already exists, right? And that's where one of them is motivation, and the other is fear of not knowing. Genuine curiosity. Those are the things you can't develop if you constantly believe that everything is already known, or like you don't need to know anything. That those type of behaviors don't exist very much anymore. They're not a major source of motivation for younger people. You make it sound like you can choose a poison. No. You can choose a well, let's take that metaphor. So that metaphor for poison, right? Yes, you do choose your poison, but poisons make great study material for remedies and antidotes. If you understand the nature of the poison, you can apply the poison advantageously. So it is only poison when you think of the bad components of poison, right? Like for example, I'll give you an example from genetics. Personally, from genetics. When you think of viruses, depending on how well you know viruses, you will probably think that's pretty parasitic. Viruses are parasites, which is true. They are also deleterious, necrotic. They can be construed as poison, like food poisoning, for example, could be viral, right? However, viruses also produce all our understanding of cloning, and this is not the same cloning that you're talking about. We're talking about cloning that leads to insulin production, because you use GMOs to provide the insulin production, and then diabetes is being addressed with the insulin. It's a little bit more complicated. I skipped like there are like 10 steps here that I would go over, but the idea is you understand what you put into, but you also know a lot of things you don't know in that process. But poisons can be assets despite being poisons at first. You guess you do have a distant destination you can get motivated by. It would be pretty cool if you can voice act in Japanese. Oh, well, that's lovely. That way you can do both Japanese dub and English dub, and then German dub, of course. Ah, yeah. I'm one of the guys who, if you, you either watch me play the English dub or you wait till watch me play the Japanese dub, or vice versa. So I'm currently a Like a Dragon fan, and I play the game three times in a row, because there's a Japanese dub, an English dub, and a Chinese dub for their game series, and I don't expect that to change anytime soon. And kind of like Clair Obscur recently, 2 months ago, where I played the French dub and then the English dub, at least of the main story, because I do enjoy listening to different. I'm also that weirdo that would read subtitles for the same language and the vice versa language. So if I really like a show, I would watch the show in English with English subtitles, because written language and spoken language varies as well when it comes to interpretive localization and whatnot. And they can be done by separate groups and separate people, like individuals as opposed to groups. And if you have a group, then you might have variation between the writing, including the writing, and then the screenwriting as well. So there are shows where you can have multiple screenwriters for each episode, right? Or like 3 episodes and the next 3 episodes and the next 3 episodes. Those are things that I look for as well. And I wanted to be a director when I was younger. A director requires holistic understanding of what's going on with a vision, as opposed to being a specialist in any of them. So I had to dabble in a lot of disciplines, and voice acting would be pretty awesome. I can definitely empathize with that idea of being able to be someone who's multilingual and get multiple tracks. What a unique reason to learn language. You don't need to look for a different voice actor, and you're right here for a different dub. Yeah, it was a situation. I shared this situation before when it came to the Japanese side of things. In Like a Dragon 7, right? In Like a Dragon 7, which was called Yakuza, stateside was Yakuza Like a Dragon. I know that's very confusing, but that's fine. There was a character. Oh no, I'm drawing a blank. Masa. Dang it. Hang on. Oh no. Masato? Yeah, Masato Arakawa. Arakawa is what I forgot his name. So, Arakawa, the head of the Arakawa family. So the Japanese speaker, right? The Japanese CV was excellent, of course, as appropriate for the head of a Yakuza family, right? But the English CV happens to be Take. Taike. Taike? Wait. How did I pronounce his last name? Oh, no, wait. Oh, did I get the wrong character? No. Oh, no. I got the wrong character. Sorry, not Masato. It's what's his name? I got the wrong character. We're not talking about Aoki. Not Aoki. They went by different names. Man, I got all the names bunched up. We're talking about Masumi. Masumi Arikawa. Masumi. The father figure. Masato is the son figure. So Masumi Arakawa was voiced by Ake. And now I don't remember his name. It was George Takei. Oh, I misspelled his name. I added extra. George Takei. Right. And he happens to be a Japanese American. Right? And his performance was like right on top of the Japanese one. Largely because he was speaking English with that also identifiable Japanese like cadence. And it was so awesome to the point where I was like, wait a minute. Are these the same person? And they're not. They turned out to be not. But their performances were very similar. And my first thought was, I'm kind of curious if Like a Dragon Cast ever considered the idea of having a bilingual person do both the tracks. So that's kind of what I'm talking about when you're talking about the multilingual thing, like doing the double dubs, because there is something very interesting that happens with a person who wields a multi-language. Like their performance, lots of times people talk about, oh, but the performances are so different. Mind you, I like that performances are different between two human beings who have command of their own native language, which doesn't share the native language. It creates two separate interpretations of the character, etc. Right? But video games tend to be the opposite. They tend to want consistency between the characters. And when it comes to like screen performances, right? Screen performances, they can be wildly different because it would be an interpretation. It would be a different interpretation when you think about live action, right? Live action stuff. But when it comes to video games, you're dubbing something, and rigging and animations, and then the gamers would have a very specific preference where the CVs would be similar in their performance. But it would be really wild if they were presented by the same person speaking two different languages. Because I do earnestly feel that when it comes to performances in language, the person normalizes it or chooses to present a different mannerism. So you can actively participate in code switching if you want, or you don't code switch. So I typically am not an actor. I'm not the greatest. Like I don't plan on voice acting, but it would be cool to voice something. But I don't do code switching when it comes to like acting situations, like as in intentionally acting situations. I do code swapping when they are necessary or sufficient, like necessary or appropriateness. And I can demonstrate this because if even though I can switch between like English and Hujiwa, my Goni Hujiwa going my Goni Ingung when I speak English is still relatively the same cadence. It doesn't really change much. And you might be thinking maybe why Hujiwa mo gong yao dan gong yao yang ingung juan. Then if I keep speaking in English, it will still sound relatively the same. That's without code swapping, right? I'm not code switching while going back and forth between the language. However, a lot of individuals would deliberately, intentionally code switch in order to get into the groove of the language, right? If the language is can commence a code switching, it gives you like that separation from the language. You can be Japanese when you speak Japanese. You can be Chinese when you speak Chinese. And I do that too, but only when it's like it's often dealing with circumstances like appropriateness and necessary. Like the way I speak to my parents is tied to that I'm speaking with my parents. Yeah, you think you will control your voice differently if you were to voice act in 3 different languages? It would be automatic because of the localization bit. Yeah, well, for if including my mother tongue Indonesian language. Yeah. Yeah, so there's always this duality. You have when you when you command a language, that's where I feel that if code switching becomes like a thing you can on and off do without being prompt, that's a wonderful skill. Like that's a pretty awesome skill. I don't think I'm in that situation. Like I can't right now literally go and do an impression. I call them impressions because it goes beyond the need and the appropriateness. I can't make an impression of Japanese regardless if I can say Japanese things. And a lot of times people think that is the source of native speech, right? They believe it is a native speech. And I'm a little mixed on that idea. Native speech is great as an end game or something. But for myself, when I'm learning a language and whatnot, it's often finding my connection with that language that helps me understand something about Japanese. And that gets me closer to it. But I need to form that connection that I want to code switch and whatnot. There are other people who say, well, that's how you become fluent. You must code switch to feel comfortable with the language. I disagree. If you grew up with more than one language, having a mother tongue and a different common language makes it so that it's actually achievable to feel comfortable and executing and speaking with an accent without making it feel like it is uncomfortable. Now, you certainly wouldn't sound like a native, right? You wouldn't native speak, but that doesn't impede how fluidly you communicate in your accent. So that creates a different dimension that I don't think is something that those who are learning a second language will expect or even embrace. They might not at all. And oftentimes people use that as an indicator of assimilating a new language, where they're like, oh yeah, look, that person also, their entire personality changed when they started speaking Japanese. In my opinion, a lot of that is due to not being connected or identifying a language as something as part of you versus a language that you're trying to imitate. You can speak Japanese without having to assume the Japanese personality if it was part of you. In Fujianese, I don't sound like very different from English, but when I speak to my parents, I might sound different in Fujianese because I'm speaking to my parents. And I would not use specific words and whatnot. So code switching is about accommodating localization, right? I think so. For me, I see code switching is much to the detriment of my argument here, or my contrary point of view. It is to confirm the appropriateness, and Japanese happens to be one that's very, very strong. So yes, I would likely be seen as code switching the moment I'm speaking to a Japanese person, probably, largely because it's accommodatingly localized. When I'm speaking to an English speaker or like someone who's a language learner, I would approach it differently. I would integrate English because English would be our common bridging language. So here, when you and I might be talking, would be vastly different when I'm talking to a native speaker, right? And at the same time, my Japanese, my personality might actually also change because I spend most of my time code switching for other reasons other than a language barrier. It's for cultural reasons, which includes the language. Do I sound different when I'm speaking Japanese despite not having like native pronunciation? Probably not. They probably sound like a foreigner, like a gaijin, right? Gaijin, gaikokujin for a lack of a better word. For forever, or maybe not. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like it's beautiful either way. You don't think you agree either? You can always bring yourself when you speak a foreign language. You always find that amusing. Yeah. I think to me, I'm a little biased because I didn't grow up in Japan, or I didn't grow up in an environment where everyone sounded the same, or like I didn't grow up in an environment believing that everyone should sound the same or always sound the same. And I didn't grow up in an environment where or even in a country that the first thing they talk about is everyone behaves the same and no one disagrees with things and there are rules that never change. So it's very tough for me to be sympathetic or empathetic towards assimilating and talking to other people who come from countries that aren't the country that they're trying to be. So for example, this happens with other people. And it's not good or bad because that means they're getting closer to the culture. Japanese language learners have this very noticeable enrichment for adopting purity and the essence of unadulterated assimilation or conformity, and it ends up translating to their English, so it impacts their English behavior. And that means to me, oh, they're getting it. They're getting the Japanese thing, but they're also embracing it, so they're not code switching consciously back to talking in English. So what happens a lot of times when those trendiness about Japanese is it comes off in the English, where someone say like, oh, that's rude, you should be more formal here. I'm like, no, that's not how English works. You don't actually know based on that. Like, or, oh, always use the indicative voice. I'm like, well, that's not true, but if you were speaking in Japanese, you would probably spend more time there. Japanese has less of a subjunctive than English. So when they start thinking a lot in Japanese, they're embodying it. It's creating the code switching, which is cool. And at the same time, you can see it happen. And meanwhile, when they speak in English, it comes off differently over time. Like, for example, how pedantic their English becomes. They would go around and say things like, oh, I wouldn't use that word. That word means this. It's like, no, it means all of the above. We're not speaking Japanese anymore. So that's kind of one of those things that code switching is fantastic. Assimilating means a different thing. If you completely assimilate into something, you're doing kind of unintentionally the thing I was talking about, where you bring the language to you, whatever is interesting to you. So it becomes fairly obvious that, oh, now you're speaking Japanese you're speaking English like a Japanese speaker. And that's kind of neat. You kind of see that transition. Whether they choose to code switch is requirements of maintaining both. You need to maintain both to continue to know how to behave and accommodate and code switch between them, right? It's a skill that it's practiced. And it would be really interesting to watch a multilingual person voice 2 tracks of a character in order to see if they decide to code switch between them, or they decide to perform right on top of each other. Because you can choose both of them as long as you command the language well enough. Yeah, it's shocking how effective being rigorous with Japanese language learning comes off on their dictation for English. Like, I would be very curious if this was done, where you ask 2 bilingual teachers, one that is in the English background, whichever country, you can choose a different country, and then the Japanese one, and then ask them to explain concordant concepts and how they interact with their target audience. Maybe they're Japanese students or English students, and see how they accommodate and or code switch between them. I grew up in an environment where learning happens with hybrid languaging. So you use all of your languages to learn something. So it's very different from the environment I feel is most trendy right now, which is to separate them. So you kind of find many ways to fully immerse in your target language's environment. So that could definitely lead to sounding native and behaving native, for sure. I'm not sure if I like that as a starting point. So my Japanese is probably still just sounds like an English person / Chinese person trying to speak, or like a Fujianese speaker trying to speak Japanese. And my Zhongwen probably sounds like a southern eastern of origin Asian heritage person trying to speak with a northern accent, probably sometimes. Something like that. I don't actually know, because I don't know of any northern Chinese people. Like, I don't have like family friends or anything that speaks with a northern accent. And here's one thing, you know, Nihongo Jozu, right? That meme, it happens in Chinese too. Like, oh, 你的中文你的中文说很好 right? Like, oh, your Chinese is quite good. Yeah, that's the Jozu effect. It happens in Chinese too. Like, when not long ago in Thanksgiving, American Thanksgiving, like 4 months ago, I shared with one of our family friends that I haven't read Mandarin ever. I was illiterate in Mandarin. So she's like, oh no, just talk to me like in using 中文, right? So 我说的一点中文 and 他说的我的中文听得很好 right? Like 说的很好 right? Like she just said like, oh, your pronunciation is pretty good. It's like, that is the pleasantry of having a face culture. regardless of you're in a face culture, or like what country of face culture. If you're in a face culture, they typically compliment you on your pronunciation. But I don't know if that means the same thing when an American or like someone English speaking in a different country say like, oh hey, your English sounds okay, and then your world would like change or something. It's like, oh no, like I don't know what happens when a Japanese person hears like, oh hey, your English is serviceable. It's like you don't get that, obviously. The opposite is, oh, I like your accent. And then, you know, a Japanese person might be like, wait, I have an accent? Like, I don't want to have an accent, because if I need to speak English, I need to speak without an accent. It has to be spoken the way other English speakers sound. Like, no, it isn't. In English, you embrace accents because it's a different culture surrounding English. So I'm a little biased, obviously, because when I hear someone learn Japanese and I can understand them despite not knowing Japanese all that well, my first thought is, ooh, that's an interesting way to say those words. That's pretty cool. Much like when I'm watching anime or watching live action, you know, movies and whatnot, I'm like, oh, this person sounds a little bit different and I like it. But largely, I said this a lot about Japanese performances. The one thing that the kiddos nowadays really love about Japanese is if you like one Japanese thing, like voice acting, you're probably going to like most of the voice acting cast in it because it's incredibly consistent. Despite dialectic differences, nuances, the accent, the tone, the pacing is super consistent because their language requires incredible adherence. Meanwhile, when you watch like in American programming, for example, you're like, you don't know what you're gonna get. English varies incredibly dramatically. You could hate the way someone sounds, but love another person sounding because they just speak English with that less of an idiosyncrasy that perturbs you. Like, I can't do any of these impressions. I'm terrible with impressions. For example, a really terrible one that can throw people off is using the word like very frequently is a dialectic difference in English. Like, if you like this and like that and like this, it's kind of like this, but like that. You know what I mean? Like, that is a dialectic difference. Unfortunately, it might seem as like a cheap... I don't know how to do this. I'm not saying that's what it is, but I'm trying to give an example. When you dictate and have different speaking patterns, they are subcultures of English. But Japanese does not have a big enough subculture outside of Japan. And then in Japan, there are subcultures. But those, when it comes to the performing arts, are very consistent. So if you like something in Japanese, it is super consistent. Like, what does a Japanese samurai, like, you know, an aged ronin sound like? You'll probably have a very good idea. And it's probably consistent, that idea. Meanwhile, when you think, what does a cowboy sound like? Well, you have an idea. But then you go and look, and it varies dramatically. Like, it varies quite a lot. Despite trying to make it sound like one thing. Like, I don't know, imagine Clint Eastwood, right? But then all I can think about is Tommy Lee Jones. And then I'm thinking like, no, Robert De Niro. It's like, wait a minute. You could just get a Josh Gosling cowboy. Maybe we can throw in like a British person, like Craig. I forgot his last name. And then you start thinking, wait, all of them sound very different. That's kind of what I mean by different perspective shifts on expectations. So right now, I think Japan is appropriately in that pocket where if you're interested in Japanese language learning, native, 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 native always, always native. Native is the purest thing that you can have, right? Native is a mark of high quality, right? And that's understandable. I think it's behaviorally explainable. So therefore, despite I'm not worried about that type of thing, I can appreciate how other people are really, really worried about that type of thing. And I would have to be sensitive to it. You won't get me pressuring you to do that though. However, I wouldn't also discourage you from doing it. If it makes you feel great and continuously learn language, right? Learn target language, it's great. I'm not here to be a contrarian to you. Despite how many people try to end my language learning enthusiasm by suggesting otherwise. The opposite, it's a double standard. The opposite is not true, where people would get other people to stop being interested in learning a target language because they're focusing on different priorities that are not their own. Maybe it also comes down to if you want to change the settings in your brain to think in a foreign language. Yes, that's exactly that's what I was describing about separation. They're trying to create a separation. The code switching is intentional in order to form a separation of the language. And I do the opposite. I bring the language in. I do not separate the language. Now, it can lead to different things. It can lead to a misunderstanding of the foreign language, right? That's the trade-off. And I'm offering the opposite. When you think in a foreign language, you also dispense with how to communicate outside of that foreign language when you're using your native language. And that can bleed back into your current language. When you speak in German, your brain reacts in Japanese. When I speak in Japanese, my brain reacts in German. I don't know why this happens. When I read Japanese, I read it in Chinese. And it becomes like a permanent ingraining situation. And then right now, when I'm looking at Hanzi, I'm thinking in kanji. And that's now it's not the same as Japanese and German, but it's the two things you have knowledge of, and they are related by situation, by setting, right? Both of them are target languages you learn, so they are separated from the common languages that you wield and the mother tongue that you have. So that creates that separation. Yeah. And while it's a clash, you can leverage it as well. Like, you can work for it or against it, in my opinion. And the idea is being able to be skillful enough to navigate that. I try my best. I'm not saying it's going to speed up your language learning. The most honest, goodness, genuine response is learning a language in isolation and dedicating everything and all your focus to the actual environment is the fastest, most efficient way. I'm not focused on those skill developments. That's not what I'm focused on. My focus is on how do I negotiate that, right? What are the problems that people do have when it is managing the clash, managing the interference? How do you leverage that? Well, I deliberately leveraged it by using it. And then the things I get confused, I find creative ways to make them less confusing. And that's interesting. Whether that gets me to fluency in Chinese or Japanese, 谁说我没有学习 right? Oh, I forgot learn. 谁说我的我不知道我做的什么 right? Who says I don't know what I'm doing, right? Kind of thing. I don't know. Maybe. 頑張って right? But it'll be interesting what I think about. I will probably have different thoughts in another year or two. maybe 2 or 3 years down the line. I prioritize one thing well before thinking about the destination. And that's if you feel like you're exhausted now and you're constantly having to overcompensate or compensate for something that's keeping you from doing the thing, that comes first. It doesn't matter how far down the line what your destination is. You're not going to get there. And here's a even hotter take. Do you even want to get there? If you're focusing in the present and the near future, sometimes you don't even end up in the destination you were heading for. I could start with Japanese, Chinese, and even Spanish, and I might end up just being interested in French because Brie likes French. But we don't know. I'm not going to dispense with all the... Now, the things I'm focusing on are skills that, despite not acquiring Japanese and Chinese, I'm going to take them with me to the next language, and then the next, and then the next. Or I start learning how to program in Java. It's still transferable to there. So those are my baseline skills. The skills that I prioritize are the skills that I take with me for a lifetime. The content itself, I'll try my best to remember them, but they'll probably fall by the wayside if I don't commit to using them. So I can't make a guarantee, nor can I say anything I say will help you retain Japanese or Chinese. I actually think they probably will create clashes and make it more confusing. What is not going to be confusing is your capacity to juggle more information. That's what I'm practicing or investigating. Right. Interesting question. I like it. And the share as well. Yeah, code switching is such a wonderful thing that people can do. I think and code switching is not even the word I would use in the case of actors and voice actors. That's a skill. They're acting, right? Acting involves code switching, and true code switching looks like method acting. When you're method acting, you're really code switching. It's like code switching complete. So whenever I think of method actors, like Christian Bale's, for example, when he method acts, it's kind of scary. I think Leonardo DiCaprio also method acts. So they take it to an intentional level, not an obligatory level. I code swap due to a response to the environment and the situation. I can't completely code swap without create a code swap. I can't pretend to code swap. Create an artificial environment. I can't lead in a conversation in sounding Japanese. I can't lead in a conversation sounding in Fujonese. I don't have enough knowledge or command of that ability. How could I turn this conversation we're having now to not sound like an American who is speaking from a scientific perspective and a formal education background? How do I pretend to be someone else, right? How do I act differently than myself? I'm not doing that every day. It's very difficult for me to do that unless there is proper environment and stimuli to trigger my response. So when someone starts talking about science, it can trigger my code switching to speaking at a technical level for science. But if I try to think about how to do that, I can make an attempt, but it's not going to be that great. Hence, I'm not a great actor, right? I never acted in my life, so I can't suddenly be Yeah, I can't do it. Like, I'm trying to think of what switches in my head in order to sound a bit more technical. It's difficult. The very nature that this stream is happening is dictating my code right now. It's fine if code switching is not the right word for it. What counts is that you pick up the message. As for you, you would code swap really only for the purpose of being understood or fitting in with the locals better. Exactly. That's what I've grown up to do. So, my sister said this before. Like my sister and I, we don't have very similar groups. Only one time in our life where our groups collided, and we both code switch when we're with our groups of friends or different groups of friends. It's very obvious to probably our friends if they met our other friends earlier on. So and I don't think my friends do that as much because they had a consistent environment. For myself, my consistent environment for like my high school friends are very different from my college friends, which are very different from my family or my family friends. They happen for fitting in and being understood. And it's kind of like asking a native speaker to explain why they say certain things, and the response is you just do. So I haven't studied the act of code switching, which is practicing and acting. I think actors are fantastic. They are able to do that, and you're wondering, how does saying acting relate to language? Have you seen an actor try to mirror what someone else sounds like without ever learning what they're saying? That is code switching without comprehension of a language, right? And even then, have you seen, listen, there are a lot of English accent actors that are British. They don't necessarily have to understand why that the language does this and who does this. They code swap by absorbing what they're observing, and that's pretty insane in my opinion. Like you have actors that are so good at it where overnight they're like, okay, sorry, but you have to say these words in French and throw in a few French phrases here, and they would rehearse, but they would rehearse in a limited amount of time to nail it, and that's pretty cool. I think that's awesome. I can't do that. Actors have this really impressive way of like observing and then doing an impression of it, right? If not even mirror it. Like, I would not be surprised if I met a really outstanding actor and I gave them like, I don't know, they would just watch the stream for like 4 hours and they would immediately be able to imitate my arm gestures, my intonation, and possibly even my American English accent immediately. And that's like a different form of comprehension. They don't have to know like describe the idiosyncrasies and stuff, they just do it. And that's kind of one of those things about native speaking. If you're natively routinely doing something for a really long time, it can be very difficult to explain, but seeing it in action is absolutely amazing. Especially whenever I hear a British actor speak in their accent and then they like go through there was a fun one, like some content creators do this for fun, where they would walk along the side and hold a camera and they would weave in and out of like 5 to 6 different English accents. And my only thought was, wow, that's really on point. Granted, I only am myself only have one accent. The idea is like, oh yeah, I've been around these people. They really nailed it. Especially the ones that I've been around, like a French English accent, a colonial French English accent. French Canadian accent, an Indian English accent, a Korean, Japanese, and it's hard for me to even know how I know a Korean English accent from a Japanese English accent unless I hear it, because I'm not studying it. I'm not consciously understanding why they sound like that. I would be very impressed if someone knew or be able to describe what is it about me that makes me sound like they understood that I also speak a mother tongue. It would be really interesting. Especially when my mother tongue represents nearly zero representation online. It's like 0.1% representation, 0.01%. There's absolutely, I would be floored the moment I meet another Fujianese speaker. It's the point, people still say when I say Fujianese, they think I'm saying Fujianese, which Fujianese is very different. It's another thing. And then also, if they think it's like a Hokkien is the more common one. It's a little bit more outside of China. So Hokkien tends to be the default. And I'm like, yeah, I don't understand Hokkien. It's unintelligible to me. Doesn't understand it at all. By coincidence, though, I did meet in high school another girl who was my age, whose parents were Fujianese, and when I talked to her, she said my accent was weird, and I'm like, your accent's weird. No, I'm kidding, but her accent was tough too. So even then, since I'm diaspora, it's very hard to know if my accent's even accurate to those in China, right? When I listen to those people, I know what they're saying, though. I don't know if they know what I'm saying. Công hòa就話冇講啦. I mean 我媽咪佢爸爸佢我父母也講我 accent 係有英語嘅話. I'm saying that my parents sometimes do also tell me that my accent has sounded more American now. Like I have an American accent to it. My late grandfathers said the same thing. Where like, oh, 你乡音拼音密我的呢，密我呢你我经你胡椒呢，all the 胡椒啊，那basically like you gotta find real native Fujianese speakers in order to cultivate that Fujianese accent, right, and whatnot. I've only grown up in the United States, and my English dominance has created an influence on Fujianese. So I don't know how true that is with Japanese or Chinese. I'm sure I sound weird. Even the kids that I meet nowadays who are learning Chinese, like because they grew up in a country that has Chinese as a multilingual, like they learn Chinese alongside their other languages. They say that I pronounce things weirdly by habit. One of the things in Mandarin for sure is that several tones do not exist in Mandarin, and I often sometimes default to them. One of the tones is this, where it goes, it's a Japanese tone actually, where you do this. You go up and then back down, but all across one syllable. That, like, it could be ke, like ke, ke. And so, 可 you only got one choice. 可 to go up, or you can do 可 going down. But there's 可. This is 可. So, 可 just one. You go up, then you drop down. But Mandarin doesn't technically have this. Technically, but when you combine two words, like I don't know. We had one today. What was it? It was on something on. It was answer. But you can have two words, one going up like 2, and then you can end it with a 4. And that's the closest thing you have to this, which I kind of do. Anyways, thanks. That's it. That's it for our digression today. There's also like something about starting strong, starting loud, and then getting quieter, and then, or like a stronger stop and a softer stop versus a harder stop. And I don't know what those are any. There's not great examples. And I'm not sure if I do them naturally without being able to explain them, because I don't know the example. All right, so last one, and then now we start our review, right?
Go.
Go. Wired mesh, special ingredients. Rack, special wire rack. All right, let's see if I remember this.
智 测
测 it's kind of like estimate, measure.
Go.
Go. I swapped this up to handball, fingertips, or clay pot, shake. It's a moon-shaped clay pot. Clay pots can be moon-shaped. So shake. Oops. Oh, shake. Yao.
摇
And then, oop, straight out the window. Climb down the trees, right?
直
And plant. Okay. All right, time to lock in so we can get some Phantom X in today. Thank you again, Jazz. I always appreciate the candid share. Love. Nothing like having. Okay, there are a lot of things like it, but it's wonderful to chat about things. It breaks up. It gives more sentiment. This is my motivation. You are my motivation. I steal people's enthusiasm. Major source of motivation. Whoops. Oh, is that supposed to be a syringe? That's not how you spell syringe. Stringy. Okay.
坚固
他建造了一座坚固的房子。
Okay.
吸管
塑胶吸管对环境不好。
呼救
别害怕呼救。
What? Oh.
胖。表。
Or, yeah. Right. Wait. Oh, wrong tone.
航空。
他是一位航空专家。
度。全。高大。
高大的建筑。
高大。High class? Big? Important? It might be important. Just it's very big. 高大. It's very big. Oh, it could be tall and big and tall, maybe. That's also fine too. That sentence, that phrase is not the most explanatory. Excuse me? Wait. Oh. I typed the wrong thing out of habit. Called out maybe tall and big. That's fine. It's literally tall and big. Okay. Uh.
附件。
请查看邮件附件。
移动。
我们要移动你。
I hit the wrong button. Okay. Wait.
配送。
我们公司负责配送。
挥舞。
他左右挥舞着国旗。
寻找。
我在寻找我的遗失钥匙。
移民。
我是中国移民。
带。
Oh, man, I've made so many typos. Okay. I need to settle down on that one. We pause at it.
打败。
我们不能让恐惧打败我们。
打败我们. Hit with failure?
才。休息。
我一整天都没有休息。
笨手笨脚。
他这人笨手笨脚。
硬。
Uh-oh. Oh no. Oh no, oh no, oh no, no, I just lost it. Okay. Oh, I got it back. Oh, or no, I don't. No, I still don't know what it is. Dang it.
吸收、
这种材料可以吸收水分。
I don't know what that is right now.
长生不老、
世上不可能有长生不老的人。
喜欢、
你喜欢他吗？
Be slapped with failure? Okay. Slap with failure. Defeat. You know? Sorry. I try not to promote aggression.
刀、
Or a sword. Hmm.
唱、 够、
I was just talking about that today. Oops. Wait. Yeah, T.
受、
How is it? Bestow? What was the other word that they used? Bestow? Convey? No. Confer. Okay. Try to think. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I lost it. It's gone. Yeah, wooden leg and sling. Is this new? I think this is. Oh, I remember.
醋、 良好、
我们需要建立良好的沟通。
比赛、
我觉得我们会赢得比赛。
夜、 茶馆、
开茶馆。
Ah, I missed the T. I hit R.
黑名单、
上了黑名单。
Oh. What? Oh, those are tusks.
煮、 天桥、
我看到人在天桥上。
转、
That is turn into. Or turn to. To turn. It doesn't matter what the preposition. But it's generally to turn into.
T、
E. How did T work? Replace.
解、
What the? Oh, is it G? It's G, isn't it? Yeah, it's G. Wait. Yeah.
"各种各样
Is that a blade? Surprised.
闭嘴
请闭嘴，我在工作。
Ah! Ah! What is that? Ah! Oi! Oh.
临时
我们临时改变计划了。
Overlook time? Oh no. This is a turn of phrase. Okay. Yeah, that's a turn of phrase. Turn of phrases are gonna be tough. I'm gonna end up forgetting some of the turn of phrases.
把握
把握自己的命运。
阿姨
我阿姨每天都很忙碌。
Yeah, yeah.
抓紧
抓紧了。
What? Sucks.
地址
请载我到这个地址。
跳伞
他今天要去跳伞。
What am I looking at? Oh no.
火冒三丈
老板
哦
对迟到的员工火冒三丈。
Oh no. Oh no. Okay.
逛街
我明天要去逛街。
Discombobulated. How do they? It's like discombobulated foreman. Dismembered foreman. I'm using discombobulated because of Brie. Okay. Tusks. What was this? Table. There was table on the ground. Miniatures. Yes.
喂粗话
他总是说粗话。
Oh no, I did it again.
明显姨妈
我的姨妈住在乡下。
Okay.
浅显
这个问题很浅显。
替代品
蜂蜜是蔗糖的替代品。
逛公园
我每天早上都去逛公园。
雨伞，
他没有带雨伞。
网址，
汉字英雄的网址是什么？
模，增产，
增产2成。
Oh, I went for it. That did not work out. That gut feeling failed hard.
建造，
这座大桥是由工程师们建造的。
What? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Oh. It's not the right character, okay.
资，
YOLO. That didn't work. YOLO. That didn't work.
盘，
Or tray, yes. YOLO.
领，
YOLO.
诗，
Execute. And then what happened here? I need to stop on this one. This one's a little weird.
或，
Okay.
浅色，
他喜欢穿浅色的衣服。
轮，
Wait. What is that? It's a lun, but what is that? I don't know. Huh.
套，根，护身符，
我的护身符保护着我。
护身符。
桥，八，
that failed. That failed awfully. I don't know. No. What? Wait. Oh. Wrong tone.
设立，
公司在台北设立了一个新办公室。
Wait. That's not it. 设立 that's not it.
邮件，
检查邮件。
Wait. "检查邮件 Mail? Oh yeah, mail. Yes.
除，
The heck?
坚决，
他很坚决。
他很坚决。Oh, resolute. Okay. 设立 Oh, I had this and now it's gone again. Maybe establish.
转告
我会转告他你的问候。
What? Oh, turn.
冷淡
他的态度有些冷淡。
What? 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 A cold? Mild. Wha- What?
昨日
他昨日没有上班。
What?
初级
这本书适合初级学生。
I genuinely don't remember this anymore. It's like a. Oh.
巨人
他是文学界的巨人。
淡季
现在是旅游淡季。
Off season. Sure. What? Oh, that's Chin. Wait, how does that work?
被
I can shellfish. Turn to declare. Huh.
强
Huh. Oh, no, that's wrong. Ah! It's, whoops, I did it again.
限免费
这本
期限
请在期限前提交您的申请。
卫生纸
我们家里的卫生纸用完了。
What? Whoops. Oh no, that's Slender Man. It's Doifu. Or is it? No, it's not. What was it? Wait. What? I'm drawing a blank. No. Yes. Wait, I thought it was 对付. But what did I type? It's to deal with. Or, oh no. Maybe not. Oppose? Hard to oppose? And I don't know why I'm drawing a blank on this too.
群
I have no idea. Oh, no. Oh, that's not that.
四
Huh.
孔 歌剧
编写歌剧，
Oops. Wait. Oh, pa. Hi. Yeah, why am I not like... Why am I... I don't know. I just I don't know.
表达
表达人民的意愿，
表达 Contained expression. This is definitely to express. Oh, okay. I thought that was good enough. That's a lot. Wait, what am I? What's going on? I was fine, and now I'm not.
山区
这位老人一生都住在这个山区，
I was cruising.
依旧
他的信念依旧坚定，
Belong to all.
土派自愿
他自愿加入救援队，
self-willing volunteer, I guess.
反派，
这个反派的计划最后失败了。
料，风，
Oops, that's not. That's boo. What? Wait. Oh, I missed the V. Okay, okay, it's fine. That's fine. Oh, how did I screw this up? Oh, wrong tone.
功课，
你姐姐在做功课。
功课 What the 功课 Turn into to pass on to proclaim to notify. It's just to pass on is so many things. And then 功课 like finish, graduate. Oh, it's probably like homework. Ah, 功课. We're just gonna ignore that one. I don't want to talk about that one. I don't want to think about that one today.
不，
That's fine.
取消，
我们需要取消这个订单。
So let me think. Okay, so you want to turn into what is the right one? It's pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it's to declare, right? Yeah, to turn into declare. I think this requires. Oh. I need to swap up. I don't like declare. Declare is making it so that this stuff is being obfuscated. It's getting blurrier to think of it as declare. Not helpful. What? Oh, I typed the first thing incorrectly. And I don't know what happened here. I don't know how I'm... Yeah, I don't know. Okay, so to achieve a lesson, right? This is to achieve a lesson. And then, so if you're... I've already forgotten. Yes, yeah, I've already forgotten. It's lessons that you want to finish. You're trying to finish lessons. Lessons to achieve. Fine. I think we'll try to make that settle.
小伙子，
小伙子对音乐很有天分。
It is a young person.
旅客，
旅客们，欢迎你们乘坐本次列车。
Excuse me. Oh, I typed the wrong thing in the.
蓝领，
他从事蓝领工作已经10年了。
回声，
经济正在回升。
回声 Answer? Reply? What is going on?
报纸，
我很少看报纸。
What? This Xiangmin. Oh. Just kidding. And I don't know what happened here. I don't have a tether at all for this. So it's the right character. The right character is like I just don't know anymore. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, I do know. I just needed to silence it. Dang it. I forgot about the silence. That's gonna be due to practice. It doesn't really matter. Oops.
对付，
这个人难对付。
Yeah, that's fine. I think some of the weaker ones, they're optional. They'll just pass. It'll be okay. If they come back around, we'll try it. I think the weakest is probably schoolwork and homework. It's more like work to do, things you need to do, things to qualify for something. Like to do homework, you must complete it, right? And schoolwork, but it's kind of a pivot to get to school and homework. All right. Quick. I've run out of time today. Ooh. I got lots to do in Phantom X. I want to get to them. Lots of fun to do. All right, I think all of these are, yeah, they're kind of okay. Let's see. They're kind of okay. Whoa. Ming. That's supposed to be Ming. I think so. Oh no, Meng, not Ming. Mario. Meng. 是 侧 go 摇 指 yeah, they're kind of okay. Kind of okay. All right. Oh, this was what I was looking for. 答案 答案 is, yeah, Okay. Jianghu. Pai. 排列。器官。That one's tough. I'm gonna forget it. 包裹。效。效率。法官。破案。破案。Right. 破案。是对。是对。是对率。师对率。师对率。首府。首府。Right. 案件。Okay. Yeah, that's fine. 外交。外交官。Wait. 列车。Alright. We have Hulk making his way to the bathroom of the office building. Banner Hulk, who's chatting with his coworker Slender Man about commodity trades dealing with shellfish and spoons. Right. Fair enough. Then we have Mario doing a plumbing job in the basement of a super fancy English manor, where he believes he's doing a dream plumbing job because the luxurious bathroom has flowers everywhere, and even flowers in nets, and there are crowns and glittering lights everywhere that is shimmering in the evening. Very dreamy. Then we have James Bond, who snuck into the bathroom, or who went to the bathroom in order to set up set up a net to trap anyone who walks straight into the bathroom. Okay. Then we have Casper, who's working at the power plant, who went into the bathroom of the power plant where there's a huge ditch. A huge ditch spraying electrified water everywhere. And he put together a makeshift measuring device with knives in order to measure how many shellfish that he'll use to have to plug up the hole. Right. That one's gonna be tough. I don't know. I'm out of ideas for that one for now. Now we have Gandalf, who is walking to the bathroom of his bakery. I'll say his bakery, where he has a special wire mesh rack. Wire mesh rack with a special ingredient made of shellfish that he's gonna use to make a special type of croissant for purchase. Right? That's fine. Magical shellfish that tastes like butter. Then we have Yoshi, who is chilling in the barn with the other cows, trying to balance a moon-shaped clay pot. Oops. Wait, I'm missing a stroke. Moon-shaped clay pot. I actually don't know what the stroke word is, but that's interesting. Clay pot on his fingertips. But and he's constantly shaking. Eventually he shook too much, breaking all the pots. Right. That was a good performance nonetheless. Yin would be a performance. Yin. Linking that up. So now James Bond is in his living room of his house, about to be cornered by the bad guys. So he took out a small tree and planted straight against the door in order for him to make his escape down a tree, out the window and down a tree. All right. And what was the thing that we are dropping? Homework. Homework was Gong Ke. Gong Ke. Or schoolwork. What was another one? It was because it was silenced. This fool. But it was in 对付，对付，对付. Oh, 对 is weird in traditional. It has like laurel wreath, caliper. Okay, so we have laurel wreath, caliper, 对 and 对付. Which is to deal with. It was fine. Okay. That's it. That's it for HanziHero. Yep. And we had an opportunity to talk about like lingual stuff, right? Always like sharing the bit. Perhaps I will have the opportunity to interact with other people who maybe had differing experience, right? Differing experience, different takes. I love sharing banter, whether it's right or wrong or best or optimal. That definitely is not as interesting as sharing, right? Life has this way of only giving a one-shot road. It's hard to take back knowledge unless you suffer amnesia or something and then relive it in a different way. But a great way to provide motivation or intrigue or open the mind and experiment with other things is to share stories and ideas. That's it for HanziHero today. If you're going to watch this later, 谢谢. And much like my experiences that we were sharing and back and forth between me and Jazz, you are more than welcome to follow along, pick up HanziHero for yourself, share, exchange ideas, banter about it, talk about food. I love talking about food. We could even go and talk about food in a different language or something like that, right? More than welcome. So for those who are only interested in HanziHero, 大家下次见. Right, I'll see you next time. At the moment, yes, I'm gonna take a quick bathroom break. I'm gonna stretch, get the blood flowing back into my legs, and I'm gonna be back with Fandom X. Thank you.